Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. My name is Full Metal Digimon, and today I'm showing you my branded Despia deck list. This is not the Despian Exchange. This is a legit top tier style deck list. We're going to be taking this all the way to the DLM if we can make it. All right. We'll run through it card by card. We're going to do it nice and slow today. Really show you how this deck works. All right. First card of the deck is the Despian Tragedy. If this card is sent to the graveyard or banished by a card effect, you can add a Despia monster from your deck to your hand. And then you can banish this card from your graveyard to reset a branded spell or trap that's in your graveyard. Though you can't use the same effects both in the same turn. So this is a wonderful starter card. We actually play Gold Sarcophagus, and we ended up throwing in a Foolish Burial as well eventually. Okay, you can use Foolish Burial to also get your get your Despian Tragedy, or your Gold Sarcophagus can grab it. We're playing 2 copies of Max Siege because I don't have 3. We're playing 3 copies of Fallen of Albaz. This is actually one of our starters in this deck, going second, believe it or not. 2 copies of Alibur, the Jester of Despia. This card can add any branded spell or trap from your deck to your hand. Also has a second effect where if a fusion monster is sent to the graveyard while he's in your graveyard, you can summon him and negate a face-up monster's effect that your opponent controls. So it's actually quite good, and combos with our Despia, the Theater of the Branded. This is a supplemental fusion. During your main phase, you can fusion summon a level 8 or higher fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material. These go to the graveyard, which is very nice. It also has a second effect where if a face-up non-fusion fairy monster leaves the field by card effect or destroyed by battle, you can target a level 8 or higher fusion monster in your graveyard and summon it. So this, with your Alibur, can actually get a full cycle going where you're continuously resummoning your monsters. Here we have Tri-Brigade Mercurier. Has 2 main effects. The first effect is when an opponent activates a monster effect. While you control a fusion monster that lists Fallen of Albaz as material, you can send this card from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard to negate that effect. And then if this card is banished at any time, you can add from your deck to your hand a Fallen of Albaz or a monster that mentions it except Mercurier himself. And that will allow you to add either your Spriggan's Kit, which is basically like another Alibur that you have to shuffle a card back for. So you grab a branded spell or trap that's banished or in your deck or graveyard. So you can actually recycle some cards with this as well. And then take 1 card from your hand and put it on the bottom of the deck. Pretty good card. And then we have the Blazing Cartesia the Virtuous. This is one of the newest cards. If you control Fallen of Albaz or it's in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. During the main phase, quick effect, you can fusion summon a level 8 or higher fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material. Once again, these go to the graveyard, which is very, very, very important in this deck. You don't want to constantly be banishing all your stuff. During the end phase, if a fusion monster is sent to your graveyard this turn, you can add this card from the graveyard to your hand. Awesome, awesome card. There's also the... there's another one that's just like this card. We can find it quickly, find it quickly. Incredible Ecclesia the Virtuous. This is also another option for the deck. This is level 4 light spellcaster instead of the dark light Cartesia. If your opponent controls more monsters than you can special summon this card. And then it has the quick effect to tribute itself and summon a Sword Soul or Fallen of Albaz from your hand or deck. And then during the end phase, same as the Cartesia, you can add this card from your graveyard to your hand if a fusion monster was sent to the graveyard. This is a good going second card, whereas Cartesia is just good all the time. Now into the Bystials, alright? So Bystial Magnam Hut. Magnam Hut. I will never say it right again, alright? You can ban... This is true for almost all of the Bystials here. You can target a light or dark in either graveyard, banish it, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. This is a quick effect if your opponent controls a monster. Alright, so this is your DD Crow on legs. DD Crow on legs with 2500 attack power. And then this card, when it is summoned, you can activate during the end phase of the turn that it was summoned. You can add a dragon monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, except for himself. And then here we have Saranir. Saranir is actually useful to us beyond just being a Bystial. Same summon effect, banish a light or a dark to summon. If this card is sent to the graveyard from anywhere, from the deck, from the hand, from the field, no matter what, if it's sent to the graveyard, you can take a Bystial monster or branded spell or trap and send it to the graveyard. So it can be quite helpful. And we play 2 of those. And we have the Bystial Druis Worm. Druis Worm is the second best past Magnum Hunt. Possibly the best. Definitely limited to 1. Has the same quick effect, light or dark, banish to summon. And then if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target a special summon monster your opponent controls and send it to the graveyard. So this is very, very powerful. And then the Bystial Baldrake. This card's not too bad, actually. Same quick effect summon. And then if your opponent special summons a Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, Xe, or Link, except during the damage step, you contribute a light or a dark monster that's not him, and then banish that special summon monster. Which is very, very useful. And then our last of our Bystial monsters is the Bystial Lubellion himself. This card can't be normal summoned or set. And you special summon it by tributing a level 6 or higher dragon monster. So that can be any of your Bystials, or it can be your Albion, the branded dragon. Which is a good combo. We'll show you that in the replays. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to then add a Bystial from your deck to your hand, except for himself. And then during the main phase, while this card's on the field, you can set a branded continuous spell or trap from your deck face up. Including traps, so you can set your branded beast face up immediately and use it immediately. This is a pretty cool card. I like it. I like the way it feels. You do play 1 Albion, and I'll be honest, I'm not sure why I took it out in some of the replays. And then we have 1 Ad Libitum for the branded in red and Guardian Chimera plays, which honestly I didn't do at all in the last like 2 weeks. I haven't done that a single one time. Alright, so for out of engine cards, or we'll move on to spell cards. We have Foolish Burial. At 1, send 1 monster from your deck to the graveyard. That's good for sending Tragedy. It's also good for sending a Bystial Lubellion if you wanted to go into a different fusion line. We have 1 Gold Sarcophagus, which is just for banishing Tragedy. It can actually also banish Mercurier and trigger his search as well. And then we're playing 3 Fusion Deployment. This card has come in such handy. This is effectively 3 extra copies of your Fallen of Albaz, which is also effectively 3 extra copies of your Super Polymerization. This is why right now I think the deck is even meta relevant at all. Is I have so many options to fuse with my opponent's monsters. The Telements are all dark monsters, which makes it very easy for me to fuse with them. The only one that you can't fuse with, I believe, is the Kaleido Heart. That can't be used as fusion materials, but we have other ways of dealing with that. So 3 Fusion Deployment. Fusion Deployment says reveal a fusion monster and special summon from your hand or deck one of the fusion materials that are listed on that card. This does lock you into fusion summons. We don't care in this deck, but it does in case you wanted to use this in some other spicy deck. We're playing 2 copies of Branded Fusion. I obviously have the 3rd, and it just got limited to 2, but it actually feels really good at 2 since we can recycle so much. We play 1 of the Theater of the Branded just to perform a additional fusion summon if we have it on the field. It's pretty nice to play through interruptions. We have the Branded Lost. This says the activation of your cards and effects that include an effect that fusion summon of fusion monster can't be negated. It's a long sentence, but effectively what it says is you can try to negate the activation of my Branded Fusion or my Despia, the Theater, or Albion or Lubellion, but it won't actually negate them, similar to how Altergeists say they cannot be negated. doesn't prevent you from trying to negate them. It just won't be negated. So things like Ash Blossom and things that negate the effect still apply. But the main part of why we actually use this is when we fusion summon, we can add a Fallen of Albaz or a monster that mentions it from our deck to our hand, which is typically our Mercurier, our Kit, and our Cartesia. All three of those can be added off of this card. We have one copy of the Branded Regained. If a light or dark monster is banished, you can target one of those monsters and place it on the bottom of the deck. And if you do, draw a card. And then your opponent normal or special summons a monster. I didn't even know this had this ability till yesterday. You can target a Bystial in your graveyard and special summon it. So that is amazing when paired with Branded Beast. We'll get to that in a second. Last of our spell cards, we have Super Polymerization. This card is unlimited recently. Discard a card and fusion summon using monsters from either field. Neither player can activate cards or effects in response to this card's activation. So once you play this, it's over, dude. I don't care if you have negates. I don't care if you have more fusions. I don't care what you have. Another fun thing about this is it sends to the grave instead of banishing. Very, very big. Okay, we have 2 Called by the Grave just for the inevitable Ash Blossom. 2 Branded Opening to get our place started. 1 Branded in red, which I'll be super honest, I did not use even one time. I did not Branded in red one time in this rank climb. I think we're at Plat 3 or something right now, and I haven't even popped that once. But, oh my gosh. Branded in red says you can take a Despia or Fallen of Albaz in your graveyard and add it to your hand, and then fusion summon by banishing the materials from your hand or field, though it can't attack directly this turn. This allows you to summon into your Guardian Chimera, which we'll get into when we get to the extra deck. Here's my actual favorite branded card. This is the one we set off of Albion all the time. Target a Despia monster or a level 8 or higher fusion monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and then you can fusion summon a level 8 or higher fusion from your extra deck by banishing materials from either field. This is incredible. Okay, this is amazing. This comes in handy a lot. Branded Banishment. This is one of the newer ones, Branded Retribution. I don't know if it's new, but the application is now new. Whole first half of the card, I don't even care what that says, alright? It says, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target a branded spell or trap, and add it to your hand. This is how we recycle our branded fusions. We no longer search for branded fusion at all in the end phase, nothing like that. We can just add it back with Retribution. And here we have the Branded Beast. This is what you'll typically set off of your Lubellion. This lets you tribute a Bystial monster to target a card your opponent controls and destroy it. It also says during the end phase, both you and your opponent's end phases, you can target a branded continuous spell and trap in your graveyard and place it face up on the field, which is awesome that it lets you reset your Branded Lost and your Branded Regained. So that's it for the main deck. Let's hop into the extra deck here real fast. Okay, first up is the... Oh my god, I keep doing that. First up is the Garura, Wings of the Resonant Life. Not super sold on this card, if I'm being honest. Just 2 monsters with the same type and attribute, but different names. And any battle damage is doubled. Irrelevant. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can draw a card. It's okay. I summoned it once against Goaty. Can't really summon it against Tearlament because they tend to just summon a bunch of different things. Can't really summon it against Branded Despia because we summon a bunch of different things. I don't know, you can use it against Ignister if they summon more than one monster. But no. No, this card's not actually as great as I thought, so I'm thinking about cycling it out for something different. Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. Nah, he's a GOAT, alright? He's always been around. He's not the best, but he always comes in handy for me. Tearlaments, Branded, Tri-Brigade even. There's a whole bunch of decks that this is highly, highly useful in. This card is fusion summoned. You can make a gain attack equal to a special summoned opponent's monster until the end of the turn. Then you can target a level 5 or higher monster that your opponent controls. Until the end phase, this card's name becomes its name and you gain its effects. And then if this card is destroyed, you can destroy all your opponent's special summon monsters. So this card is clutch. Very, very good super poly target. Here's another one of our super poly targets, Predaplant Dragostapelia. Once per turn, quick effect, you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls. Place a Predator counter, which will drop it to level 1 and negate its effects, which is beautiful for things like Spright. Any Synchro deck, the Blackwing deck, the Goaties, this works horrendously well on. Just drop their level 6 to level 1 and watch them struggle. Very, very, very powerful fusion monster. Let's move it along. We have one Brigand, the Glory Dragon. I always miss having this card if I don't play it. This is just an additional send to then search for your Mercurier. And then two Albions, one to summon, one to send. Sometimes summon both of them. This card, when fusion summoned, you can fusion summon a level 8 or lower fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing the materials from your hand, field, or graveyard. And then if this card is sent to the graveyard, then is there in the end phase, you can add to your hand or set a branded spell or trap directly from your deck. This is how we set our branded banishment and branded in red. Also, nowadays in this deck, this is the main starter, so you want to summon this with Branded Fusion, and since it takes Fallen of Albaz plus a light monster, you can send your Bystial Lubellion to then send this to the graveyard and resummon your Lubellion, and also have the additional fusion summon off of him as well. We play one Despian Caritas and one Masquerade the Blazing Dragon. These are the Despia fusion monsters, which can be very helpful with the Super Polys or branded banishment. During the main phase for Caritas, you can change the attack of all monsters except level 8 or higher fusion monsters to 0. Pretty good. And then if this card leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, add to your hand or special summon a Fallen of Albaz or Despia monster from your deck. The Fallen of Albaz, discard a card, fuse with their field. Card's actually super duper awesome. Masquerade can be quite helpful against combo heavy decks. While you control this fusion summoned card, your opponent must pay 600 life points to activate their cards or effects. This doesn't start a new chain, it just happens every time that they activate an effect. If your opponent controls a Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link monster while this card's in your graveyard, you can quick effect special summon it to your field, which can be quite helpful. Also kind of fakes them out into thinking you have something way better. Mirror Jade, the Iceblade Dragon. This is the quintessential boss monster of the deck. It says a quick effect. Send a fusion monster from your extra deck to the grave. So either the Brigand or the Albion. Or you can even... the Brigand or the Albion. And then you can banish one monster on the field. This is a non-targeting banish, which is amazing. Also, this card cannot use this effect the next turn. So it's just the next turn, that card in particular, if you resummon Mirror Jade, you can use this effect again. And if this card leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can destroy all monsters your opponent controls during the end phase. Beautiful. So if they take care of it, it takes care of them. Banish a card, search some cards. This card does everything for us. This is the alternate Lubellion, the Searing Dragon. Alright, this is the dark version of Albion. If this card is fusion summoned, you can discard a card and then fusion summon a level 8 or lower fusion monster by shuffling fusion materials from your field, graveyard, or faced up banished cards. Something that I like to do with this. This card cannot attack the turn that you do that, which is fine, because what I like to do is shuffle back Lubellion and our Fallen of Albaz to make our Mirror Jade. Something you can also do to reverse it is summon Lubellion if you want to get a Dark into the grave. Say you want to search with your Despian Tragedy, or say you want to get your Mercurier in the grave to banish and search. You can summon Lubellion first, discard, and then shuffle back Lubellion and the Fallen of Albaz to summon out a Albion the Banded Dragon. which then you can go into the rest of your plays. So it really depends on if you want to mill a light or a dark, on which one of these you'll go into. Grand Guignol, the Dusk Dragon. We will never say that correct again. If this card is fusion summoned, send a level 6 or higher light or dark monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard. So this can be anything almost in the whole deck. There's a lot of options. I can't go into them all, but just a few. You can draw a card with Garura. You can send Brigand to search. You can send Albion to search. You can send your Bystial Lubellion to start your plays. You could even send your Cartesia or Incredible Ecclesia, which will then add themselves back to the hand in the end phase. All thoughts, all things you can do. Typically, you want to search with this card, with this, with the Brigand, with the Albion, or with the Garura to just draw a card. Beautiful, beautiful. And then if a monster is special summoned by an activated monster effect, which it's kind of hard to keep track of, but when this effect pops up, activate its effect, alright? You can banish this card from your hand, from your field or graveyard to special summon a Dogmatica or Despia monster from your extra deck. Alright? You can summon a Dogmatica from your deck as well, but we don't do that. And we use this to summon our Despian Proskenian. This is also a good super poly target. It's a Despia plus a light and a dark. During the main phase quick effect, target a Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link monster in your opponent's graveyard, and you can either banish it or special summon it to your field. And then when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, inflict damage equal to that monster's original attack or defense, whichever is higher. This card's actually amazing. I'm surprised more people don't use this card, just in general. But now that we have the Grand Guignol, we can summon it way easier. Last two cards, this is a really good card here. This is Rindbrum, the Striking Dragon. Alright, and this is Fallen of Albaz plus a Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast monster. But you would make this with Branded Fusion by sending Mercurier, where if you have a Bystial in hand, you then can go into a whole different combo. When a Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link monster effect is activated, quick effect, negate that effect, and then return one monster from the field to the hand. Amazing. And its second effect, during your opponent's turn while this card's in your graveyard, you can target a Fallen of Albaz, special summon either that monster or this card, and banish the other. Very helpful, even if you just send Rindbrum on his own to summon an Albaz. So yeah, Branded has negates now. And then the last card in the deck, Guardian Chimera. Honestly, I haven't summoned this once this season. Maybe we'll think about switching it out, but honestly, it's just so powerful. You use 3 monsters with different names. I'm not even going to read the card, because reading the card makes it so much more complicated than it is. You need 3 monsters. They have to be from your hand and your field. And for every card on the field you use, you'll pop a card. For every card in your hand you use, you'll draw a card. So you can either draw 2, pop 1, or pop 2, draw 1. Your choice. Amazing card. Looks like that is it for the deck. I have one good replay to show you from a Spright player, and let's jump into that and show you how this deck functions now. Alright, we're gonna have to talk really fast for this one. This guy does a whole lot really fast, okay? So we open great, but we'll talk about that on our turn. So he's gonna summon a Nimble Beaver, summon a Nimble Beaver, summon a Spright Jet, search for the starter, link off into the Sprint. Sprint is going to send. We're actually faster than him this time. Sprint is going to send a level 2, which is the Tri-Brigade Kit, sending the Nerval, which will then search for your Fractal. Okay, you can link these two into the Gigantic Spright. Link. Gigantic Sprite's going to summon the blue from the deck, searching for the red. Summons the red, and now he has the starter for the carrot. He's got them all. Goes into the elf. Target a level 2 in your graveyard, resummon it. He goes for the kit. Kit will banish 2 to summon the Farragut. and then link those off into a Bear Brum. So this lets him draw a card and recycle it. So we're looking at some dastardliness. We don't know what this is. He has a monster negate live. The Spright Elf will reborn. The carrot for the spell and trap card negates soon. Let's see how we break this board open, huh? So, first thing we're going to do is activate Branded Lost. That's going to inspire him to use Spright Elf. Okay? Summoning the carrot, which we're just going to banish. Just, I have way too many spell cards for you to be negating them, okay? So we go ahead and banish the carrot, negating its effects, and we will activate a fusion deployment. Now he knows he has to Ash Blossom or else I'm going to link off, I'm going to fusion someone with a lot of his monsters, okay? So we decide, perfect timing, we'll just Branded Opening instead. So we'll discard the Poly, summon the Owlbear. Owlbear's going to search. Now we got the Spright Red, getting rid of the Gigantic to negate. Well, that's all of his negates. We got rid of the carrot, we got rid of the red. Gigantic Sprite's gone. Spright Elf is dealt with. Bear Brum can't activate. It doesn't look like this is a revolt. So we're going to go ahead and Branded Fusion using our Albaz and our Lubellion into the Albion. This will trigger the Branded Lost, which we will chain block with the Albion. Okay. Albion will fusion summon. Branded Lost is going to search for a card. So here we banish 2 from our grave to summon our Lubellion. Branded Lost is going to search for the Cartesia. Lubellion can then discard the Cartesia and get negated. Totally fine, dude. He has used all of his resources to stop us. But it's fine. Lubellion's also a 3000 defense booty. So we'll go ahead and summon our Bystial Lubellion, set our Regained, and swing in. So now we have the Albion in the grave, which will let us set our Branded Banishment, which will resummon the Albion and then perform a fusion summon. We also add back the Cartesia to our hand. Beautiful, beautiful. You know, looks like we got interrupted a whole lot, but we still ended up with 5 cards on the field, 1 in the hand. So he's going to go ahead, he's going to Fractal. He's going to discard the Kit. Discard the Nerval. He's going to get Branded Banishmented. Blah, 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 blah. Now we really want to fusion summon to get the Branded Regained off, so we just fuse those 2 into a Dragus Depelia for the Tri-Brigade negate. Okay. And that's going to trigger both of these to go off. We can return our Lubellion the Searing Dragon back to the extra deck so we can use them some more. We draw into a Saronir, search into a Mercurier. Alright, Kit's getting negated. And drop to level 1. Very important. Negate. Link. Tri-Brigade Rugal. Okay, he's searching for the Revolt. Alright, looks like he's not out of it yet. Shuffle 1 card back, set. And there's the Surrender, bro, because he realized you can summon... You can... Oh my god, what is his name? Shureg. You can summon Shureg, but he's getting negated, bro. But yeah, that's what I got for my Branded Despia updated. I did a whole lot more duels, and I'll show you a compilation of that very soon. But it was basically surrender, 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 surrender. This is the only guy who actually played back a bit in Platinum here. So thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for checking out the video. I have a updated Floowandereeze and Dark Magician Bystial coming up, so stay tuned. Let me know what your favorite deck is in the comments. And just have a wonderful day.